Hey guys, all right, let's take care of another video here. This is another demo, but it's also going to be answering questions that I get once in a while. I said that kind of weird, answering. Anyway, I've got a lot going on. Anyway, so a lot of you guys seem to, I hear this a lot, especially on the Facebook groups and in emails that I get. You guys, a lot of you guys like the flat bottom rather than the textured background, the flat background rather than the textured background. I prefer the textured background, but I wanted to play around with the flat background a little bit more. And one of the questions that I got is, what do you do with that leftover stuff around the letters when you're doing outset letters? And I've kind of played with it, and I come up with a couple ideas that I think might help you guys out if you haven't figured it out already. I just kind of figured a couple of these out. So here's what we've got. I didn't film doing these outset letters. You guys have seen me do that over and over and over. But these are 1.5 inch Clarendon letters, and so the first tip that I've got for you, I've got two different routers set up. This is a profile bit. This is a spiral upcut bit. I've got them set both at exactly 1/4 inch. Now you guys know, if you've been watching for very long, that I'm not a big proponent of always measuring your depth. In this particular instance, I think it's really critical, and I've played with it a couple different ways, that you want your, and I used my my depth gauge, and I've set these both at just, well, that's actually a little bit less. Oh, look at that. I thought I set that, but maybe I didn't. No, it is just about at 1/4 inch. So these are both set at just about 1/4 inch. So
not exactly, but just about.
Just within a few thousandths of 1/4 inch, yes. And I think that will be close enough for me anyway. So what I'm going to do is, first things I'm going to do that I discovered, again, just like today, I was playing around with this, kind of practicing what I was going to do. So what's going to happen, first thing is, remember, try and give yourself a little bit more room between your letters. This is actually going to be pretty close, but if you've got really tight spots in here, remember that 1/4 inch bit may not get in between those letters. It might, but it might not. So because of that, anytime you've got a real tight spot, like in there, in that E and in these tight spots here, here's what I'm going to do. Oh, I got to put my cheaters on real quick. I'm going to actually use the profile bit and take some of that stuff out so I don't have to try and fit that big bit in there. So now I think that will give me a pretty good area around there that I won't have to try and get in too tight with that flat bottom. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cloud. Now you could do a square or whatever, but I'm going to do a cloud and then take all that stuff out of there. Oops, I got to turn my router around. Did I have that router turned right when I was doing that? Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Okay, so as you can see, there is a lot of stuff still left in there. So here's what I suggest is get the roughing done first. And that's all that other stuff that we just did. So that's just kind of roughing it out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like I just did, clear all that out. And then I'm going to take that same bit, the same depth, if I don't get hung up here, and I'm going to go around and kind of clean everything up. But here's the thing, from my vantage point right here, I can only clean up what I can see. I cannot see up here. So what I suggest is turn it around both ways. Now I can see, you know, inside of here and here and here where I couldn't see before. So now I'll clean it up again.
I lost you. I wasn't quite following you on a couple different spots. I apologize. I'm trying to film with two cameras.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Let me blow that off. What's your obvious? Gosh, now the wind comes up. All right, so now I was able to get pretty much everything I wanted. Now, the cool thing is, like at the I think it was the top of the M, because this is actually cut with a V groove and this is straight, you have a little bit of room that you can get in there, and if you happen to come close to the top of your letter or the side of your letter with the with that straight bit, really doesn't matter if you take off part of that taper. Now, anything that's left after this point, here's what I would do. Just use a little hand carving tool. I bought this set a long time ago, these little hand carving tools. You got all kinds of little, you know, different shapes and stuff. So depending on how detailed your stuff is, like at the top of the M here, I would just take all that stuff out by hand. Anything that's left in there that you don't like the looks of, you can just kind of peel that stuff out by hand. I am not a hand carver with hand tools. I've never really done much of it, but if you really want that is as perfect as a look as you can get, then I would just use this to touch up any little pieces that you have left. That's pretty clean back in there now. This is pine, by the way, just pine. So any place that you've got just any little feathers or anything that you want to clean up, you can just use one of these. And this is actually dull. This is one I've had for probably...
You use that one a lot.
Oh yeah, I've had this probably for 20, 25 years probably. These I just bought, I don't know, I think a few months ago. Yeah, see, that's too big. I like the little one to get in there. But anyway, guys, this is a question that I get quite a bit. So now you can see back in there, it actually looks pretty clean. When that's sprayed black and sanded off, you know, it's going to look pretty pristine down in there. So that's kind of my tips on that. Again, try and give yourself, if you can take out these skinny spots with the profile bit, I think you're better off rather than trying to fit that big fat 1/4-inch bit spiral in there. Anyway, guys, just a real quick tip demo kind of thing. Any questions, let me know. Eric@makeawoodsign.com. Thanks for watching. We love you all. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.